We've got football on the brain with the NFL opening. What did you think when you heard Travis Kelce's injury?
You know what? He's going to be back, obviously, at one point during the season. But to start the season, it actually, to me, is a little intriguing because we've seen Patrick Mahomes lose his best receiver and then have his best season.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill.
Not his best receiver. Like, he lost what some people say is the best receiver in the league, potentially, like top 3 receiver in the league.
Yeah.
And by the way, for Tyreek Hill, he also had a career year. So both of those guys, that's one of those great mysteries in football last season. Like, how the hell did we separate Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes, both, top 3 at their position in the NFL, and then separately they had arguably their best seasons without each other and got better.
Yeah.
That's remarkable. But anyway, I digress. Getting back to it, I can't wait to see how good Patrick Mahomes is without Travis Kelce. Because if he's able to lead that team, maybe what's going to be out, maybe, I don't know, 6 games, whatever. I don't know. I don't know what the timetable is on him. But whatever he's going to be out, let's say that Patrick Mahomes leads them to win 80% of those games that he's out and still puts up prolific numbers. I mean, he without his favorite target. And then we talk about back-to-back years losing for at least an extended period of time, losing your top receiver and then losing your favorite target and still no drop-off in production potentially. That's solidifying your resume, in terms of GOAT status. Like, he's already had the best start to a career ever, and that would contextualize it a little bit.
You're right about that, to get him. And look, it might be a couple of weeks or it might just be this one game.
Might be one game, but whatever.
And you wonder if the Chiefs would even risk it, right? I mean,
that's what I'm saying. I keep him out as long as you need to.
Adam Schefter reported this morning that it's not an ACL. The structure is good. It's swelling, and you hyperextend your knee, it's going to swell up, and there's inflammation there, so they've got to play through that. But think about it for the Detroit Lions side of it. If they could, Chris Jones and Travis Kelce, they're 2 of their 3 best players may not play.
Exactly.
What if you could sneak in there and get a win? But if you're Jared Goff and the Lions, get to Kansas City and get a victory.
Or what if Mahomes is able to lead them to a victory?
I know.
Without 2 of his 3 best players on the team, he's that good. Like, is he that good? He probably, if anybody could do it, it would be him.
I know. Well, as you said, last year with Tyreek Hill out, and his number 1 receiver was what? Juju Smith-Schuster.
Exactly.
And Travis Kelce's his number 1 receiver. We know that. And a backfield that features Jerick McKinnon and Isaiah Pacheco.
Wow.
These are not household names, y'all.
No.
He only proceeded to have the greatest season statistically all time in NFL history. He led the NFL in passing yards. He was the MVP of the league. He was the MVP of the Super Bowl. No one's ever done that. No one's ever done the quadruple header where you lead the NFL in passing yards and touchdown passes, win the MVP, and win the Super Bowl MVP. No quarterback has ever accomplished that until Patrick Mahomes did it last year, and we'll get to see him.
That's going to be fun.
But I think if you're in Motown, you're thinking, hey, what if we could, with Jared Goff and Big Dan Campbell and this, because the one thing that's for sure about Detroit is when they got in the draft, and remember they traded last year T.J. Hawkinson, their tight end, over to Minnesota within the division. They wanted to, because clearly they were trying to target some positions where they felt like they needed upgrades if they were going to take that next step. And they got into the draft and they had 2 first-round picks, and they took Jahmyr Gibbs, as you mentioned, or we talked about. The Detroit Lions at 12 took the Alabama running back to replace DeAndre Swift, who they traded to the Eagles. And then they drafted the linebacker out of Iowa, because they felt like they needed a guy that could walk in and play in the middle of their defense.
Was that Jack Campbell?
Jack Campbell at number 17.
Yeah. He's a good player.
Both have had real good camps.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Detroit got criticized for both. Like, that's too early for running back. That's too early for linebacker. But clearly, the Lions felt like they needed those guys to solidify position groups, right, and give them that dynamic running back to go with Amon-Ra St. Brown in this passing game and Jared Goff. And don't forget Detroit. If you listen to evaluators, has one of the 3 best offensive lines, maybe 5 best offensive lines in the league. So they're going to be able to run the football. That's why they brought in David Montgomery from the Bears, the Iowa State running back in the day. They want to run the ball, but then Jahmyr Gibbs becomes that weaponized player. Amon-Ra St. Brown has turned into one of the better receivers in the league, and they're fun to watch. And then they think they've improved their defense, Rod. That's going to be the question. And that if you think you've improved your defense, Patrick Mahomes will let you know if you did or not.
Yes, agreed, right? That'll be the ultimate test for him, and they'll get that week 1 on Thursday. And to add to your point, the Lions are zigging a little bit when everybody else is zagging, to your point about what they chose to prioritize in the draft. Those are not considered premium positions. The NFL has basically got a list of premium positions. Everything revolves around quarterback, wide receiver, left tackle that protects the quarterback, pass rusher that gets after the quarterback, cornerback that guards the wide receiver that the quarterback throws to. Boom, you get it, right? And linebacker, off-ball linebacker, and running back are actually down on the list, not considered premium positions. So them drafting, those non-premium positions high in the draft just shows you that they are going to zig a little bit when everybody's zagging. Also, they believe in hiring coaches who are former players. That's a big part. Something else, they zig when everybody else is zagging. That's kind of, I don't know if they say that openly, but I mean, they probably have as many former players on their staff as any team in the league. And that's a big part of their process and their methodology. But I love Ben Johnson, their offensive coordinator, too. He's going to get a head coaching job, in the next 2 years. That offense it's a top 3 offense in the league. And I'll give you a stat real quick because we'll obviously dive deeper into Lions versus Kansas City tomorrow, previewing that matchup. The Lions games this year, just Lions games, period, any game they participated in, regardless of their opponent, averaged a league high 51.8 total points. In the games that the Lions was in. A lot of that was the Lions. The Kansas City Chiefs, though, they were second. In games the Kansas City Chiefs played in, their games, the average total points was 50.9. It's going to be a lot of points scored in that game. Now, the over-under, I believe, is 55.
Yeah, which is a pretty big number.
It is a big number, but I wonder if they will push that and go over. What are you thinking about that, Ty? Over-under 55, Kansas City, but no Travis Kelce. Potentially for Kansas City. I wouldn't even. I wouldn't worry about it. I think that'd be stupid. Yeah, considering you're a Super Bowl or bust team, that'd be stupid week 1 to throw your second best player out there. But yeah, Kansas City, Detroit. What do you think?
55 is pretty high for an NFL game. I'd probably go under.
It is high,
but that could get could get wild.
Yeah, it's 2 top 5 offenses.
Do you expect both those offenses to be as sharp as they were?
Well, the other part of that is
that's a good point. At the beginning of the season,
it's kind of like the week 1 of the NFL of the college football. I mean, nobody played in the preseason. I mean, very few starters played. So, what is the tackling going to be? Are these guys ready to take good angles? These guys, in regular season form, that could lead to higher scoring, but also the offenses could sputter. I will say this to your point about the Detroit offense and the coordinator there. How about Jared Goff? Remember, Jared Goff was a one-time number 1 overall pick who fell out of favor with the Rams.
Yep.
Last year, kind of under the radar because they got hot in their last 8-10 games that Detroit did. Jared Goff, 29 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He had a 99.3 quarterback rating last year.
Oh, yeah.
29 touchdowns, 7 picks, 4,438 yards. So Jared Goff, this offensive coordinator, this staff, with a good offensive line and good weapons around him, getting the most out of the former number 1 overall pick out of Cal. He'll go head-to-head with Patrick Mahomes here coming up tomorrow night.
He's one of the only quarterbacks in the NFL that's beaten Patrick Mahomes in a shootout.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Remember? With the Rams?
With the Rams.
Yeah.
With the Rams.
They had one of them games.
Well, we could have one of those. We'll take your thoughts.